Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. And let me tell you, they drop quite a lot. We're not shy on dropping videos here on my channel. I say we, me. I'm not shy. You get at least one video a day, maybe two. The rules is you get 2 videos a day, unless I'm doing a live stream, in which case you get 1 live stream. So it works out like so. Like, share, subscribe. That'd be very, very nice. That'd be lovely. That'd be fandabby, double dozy. So we're in an interesting time in Doctor Who fandom that initially anyway, it seemed like a lot of the problems with the Jodie Whittaker era had been fixed with this new, they call it the final season. They've still got 3 more specials after this, but it seemed like a lot of, I mean, not the real core issues, but like, you still got Jodie Whittaker. Okay, that's really the main problem. But, at least it wasn't as incredibly dull as it had been. Dull and preachy simultaneously is just a bad combination. And I think that's reflected in the ratings being the worst ever, right? They're headed to the worst ever, absolutely. And heading back, and the last worst ever figures was Jodie's figures last time. But because I think people have just lost interest, right? So we live in this strange time where people are feeling some kind of, fans of the era are feeling some kind of hope that it's going to be redeemed. Like it won't be. If it went out with the Timeless Children, it would have been. I think everything, it would have been forgotten completely. But I think there's a real hope out there. It's going to be redeemed. So history is being rewritten. Revisionist history, always a big thing with people who like totalitarianism. I was going to say socialism, but fascism too. Everybody likes a bit of revisionist history. So now the revision history. Well, we're going to be looking at a bunch of it. We're going to be looking at a bunch of it today. Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? That'd be great. I do like to be liked. I don't feel any shame for that. I think it's just a normative human reaction. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. I like being shared. But mostly hit the subscribe button. Fandabby double dosing. Listen, YouTube has been doggedly shadow banning me for, I don't know, years and years. My opinions, well, to me, they don't seem hateful at all, right? They don't seem like fascistic or hateful or racist in any way. I just think, generally speaking, telling the truth is a good thing. Telling the truth is a good thing, even if it will result in you having less power because you have told the truth. And generally speaking, people with penises happen to be men, and people with vaginas happen to be women. And I think it's a bit weird to not accept that basic scientific fact, right? It's so weird. Because all the people screaming about it, they all talk about how they love the science. The science. There's no the science. I mean, if you want to get close to the science that everybody agrees with, it's there. Having a penis makes you a male of the species, right? So yeah, but it's weird. So they love the science, but not the actual science. Anyway, I digress. YouTube doesn't like me much for that. So if you could hit the subscribe button, that would be great. I mean, really, if somebody shows some stats, and I think if they hadn't been shadow banning me, I would have about 30,000 subscribers by now. If I had like a normal, not stunted rate of growth. But yeah, Wacky, listen. I could be grumpy about it, but I think it's a good thing to be grateful for everything in life. And it's easy to look at things and go, it could be better. I'd like it to be this. I'd like it to be that. But it's always good to go, thank God I got 3,000 people more, somehow watching my videos, which I really like. Okay, so like, share, subscribe, comment. That's the thing the algorithm can't get over. It loves you commenting. So like, share, subscribe, comment. That'll be fandabby double dozy. So let's start looking at this article. Where is it? Pull it up. Over here. Doink. There you go. Fine. So we're going to be looking at 2 articles. Probably depends how long this one takes to get. If I'm an hour in, I'm still doing this, we're looking at 1 article. Okay, that's how it's working. But this is the first one. Then we've got another bit of wonderful revisionist history going on. I tell you, they say history is written by the victors. Looks like history is actually written by the losers in this case. Oh, first coffee of the day. Yes. I only have 1 or 2 coffees a day, but I still like that first coffee a day. Doctor Who, the Flux have made the controversial Timeless Child twist good. Nope. And the more you bring it back, the worse it gets. I think the reason that Doctor Who Flux was doing okay was because they basically had ignored the Timeless Child thing until episode 3, when it became like a major part of it, and it got dull. It's incredible. It got dull the minute it touched it. You know, Christian was famous saying, "Oh, we wanted to open it up to new storytelling possibilities." Yeah, well, your storytelling possibilities are garbage tier current day science fiction, which isn't very good, right? Bottom line, is just not very good at all. And that's what we saw, like, a thing. So, yeah, no, it didn't make it good. It avoided it, which made it better. And now they're leading into it. It's bad. Okay, it's bad. Doctor Who's Timeless Child retcon has proven incredibly controversial. Actually, no. We all agree. It's shit, okay? Apart from a few purple-haired weirdos on Twitter, everybody agrees. It is shit, okay? That's just the way it is. Warning, spoilers for Doctor Who Season 13, Episode 3, Once Upon a Time. Believe me, it's much better to be spoiled than actually having to sit through it. It was just kind of dull. Really, now I get a bit of time to reflect on it. It was just a bit dull, really, and it was just like not something you want to say about a Doctor Who. Okay, after being so divisive, Doctor Who Flux is making controversial Timeless Child twist work. No, it isn't. Only in your deranged mind. No Doctor Who showrunner. No Doctor Who showrunner has ever won universal acclaim. No Doctor Who showrunner has ever experienced such universal disdain, right? And universal acclaim, Rusty Davies basically did at the time. We were all astounded. Stephen Moffat did in the first few years. I mean, like, yeah, you know, we've even John Nathan Turner was beloved in those first few years. It was crazy, but nobody has been hated like Chibnall. I've ever said, and it's not like we hated him going in. We just hated him what he did. It's just not very good. Fine. But Christian's tenure has proved, especially to Manchester. Yes, it's called narrative meeting reality. That's an ongoing theme for this Jewish year. Reality meeting narrative. Narrative was that Jodie Whittaker is fantastic because she has a vagina. And people with vaginas, because we're not allowed to call them women, people with vaginas have been terribly, terribly subjugated in the Western world. And now, because Doctor Who is a lady, it shows that we've all grown as people, as a society, and we're much better, more wonderful people. We're very, very, very happy. And you know, those icky old white men, that patriarchy is just going to go away, and because they're icky wicky woos and we don't like them, and we're going to get a stunning and brave new, much bigger audience of young progressive people, be them girls or boys. But again, having penises or vaginas doesn't make any difference to that. And so that was the narrative, and the reality was everyone went, sod off, you preaching pieces of filth. You know, I know, you're boring and you're preachy. So it's been proved, especially tumultuous. That's what happens when you do relentless shit and then you preach people at the same time. Matters came to a climax, and let me tell you, I can't believe I'm reading the expression "matters came to a climax" and not thinking that's a good thing. The Rabbi likes a good climax. With Doctor Who season 13, season 12 finale, which with the Doctor is not a Time Lord at all. Actually, I tell you, for me, the climax came with Orphan 55. That's when I knew this was not Doctor Who, right? In any way, shape, or form, this was not Doctor Who. That was not time, but rather she is in fact the Timeless Child, who is a stunning and brave little black girl, or anything other than a white man, because they're bad. But yeah, that was the point where everybody went, yeah, no, this is garbage. Forget. And we put up with you thinking this might not be bad. We put up with you, but it's garbage. So yeah, go away. And again, what did he do? He opened it up to garbage tier, very, very, very dull current day science fiction, which is just not very good, right? No one's ever going to go, oh, I got to rewatch that season 3 of Discovery. Nobody said that. Like. I mean, Star Trek Discovery, Perhaps one of the most high-profile science fiction TV shows made in the last few years. Can't even get international distribution because we all hate it, because it's shit, because it follows exactly the same problems that the Timeless Child did. But anyway, I digress. A being that potentially predates the universe itself, which became the base genetic code for every Gallifreyan who lives within the Citadel. This guy, Thomas Bacon, who writes it, he always puts in his head canon as if no, you don't know any of this. What you read into it, you moron. And let me tell you, you're not somebody whose opinions you should be following, because you're not very knowledgeable or clever, right? Both those things you should be if you were any good, but you're not. Dynamic retcon is the biggest change in Doctor Who's personal lore since the time was introduced in 1969. The War Games. No. I think I think the biggest change was from the pilot episode to the transmitted pilot, where they said they came from the 50th century. And then I think Susan said in much more oblique, where another time, another place. I can't remember the exact line, but it was much more oblique, which was much better, actually. And then, what was it, in season 2? I think it was it must be season 3. Peter Boswell came in as another of the Doctor's species, so we knew he wasn't a human, right? And somebody else had a TARDIS. I was basically played as a bit of it. Look, they've been building up for a while. Well, basically played as a bit of a joke. So yeah, listen, I understand Mr. Bacon, and I tell you, bacon is a wonderful, wonderful breakfast meat, which I dearly miss. That's the only good thing about you. You sound like something that tastes delicious. Your utter ignorance of Doctor Who, the way you masquerade that as virtue is incredible. And understand it divided the family. It didn't. It divided us as sort of the majority of us to a clump of weirdos that live on Twitter that have purple hair. Right, so it was like it was an even split, but it's a split between 97% and 3%. Right, it's about that. Time Scale retcon means there's literally billions of years worth of Doctors before William Hartnell's countless lifetimes had been erased from the Doctor's mind by the Time Lords. Intimated, it wasn't said explicitly. Many fans are shaken by the revelation William Hartnell isn't the first Doctor at all. Yes, he is. And our most notably continuity problems with Matt Smith's regeneration story. There's so many. Really? That's just the one you know about, right? It's like, ooh, I know about that. So, yeah, no, that's just the one you know about, you loser. Particularly given, and apparently coming to the end of his non-existent regeneration cycle. Well, they might just lie to him and say, no, we're going to give you more. I can't believe I'm helping you retcon it, you moron. Others object to Timeless Child on a thematic level, arguing the Doctor is, it turns the Doctor into a sort of superhuman being rather than a renegade Time Lord. That's also, it makes him functionally immortal, right? Which is boring. It doesn't help that Doctor's seasons of Timeless Child retcon was conducted a rather clumsy I missed something. Superhuman being, feeling that it diminishes her character. It's not his character. And I'm not one saying only a man could ever play the Doctor, right? I'm not one of those people. I kind of believe it now, right? I was open to it, but I kind of believe it now because of Whittaker and Chibnall. But it's a masculine role, so say he. It doesn't help that Doctor Who's character rather than adding depth to her. Yeah, it does. It's just stupid on every level. And again, you want to see how stupid it was? Go and watch the sections of episode 3, Once Upon a Time, where you're in the Timeless Child Dr. Ruth section from a prehistory. It was unbelievably dull. A bunch of people with guns about to enter a temple, and they enter a temple, and then it's just like there's no it's just stupid. Much more exciting. Compare that to the throwaway line on Talons of Weng Chiang, when he says, "I was with the who was it? the Norwegian army, I was with the whatever army when we took Reykjavik. It was just like a little offhand thing, which sounded so real, right? It sounded real. Because it was like the way people talk. It's an offhand thing. This just seemed boring, utterly boring. And she's got like a weird team with a doggy person who's still alive. So it's all so stupid. It really is just so stupid. And then they point out, the retcon continued in a rather clumsy manner with a focus on canon and continuity for its own sake and dependence on excessive exposition. That sounds about right. that does sound exactly right. It's nice to agree. Given the controversy, whether Chris Chibnall would choose to build on Timeless Child retcon, or he would dump it and move on. No one ever thought he was going to dump it. Nobody screws up that badly, that publicly, that loudly, right? Nobody screws up to that sort of level, and then just like pretends it does. It didn't happen. Then you got to kind of scream about it. So quite a good thing yesterday. Somebody talking about differently propaganda and lying. Right? Propaganda. Lying is like when you get caught doing something. Did you eat those cookies? No. It's like when you get caught. But propaganda is when you want to deny reality. So there's a lot of things. You scream it as loudly as possible, right? Like, this is the best thing ever! Best thing ever! You shout down anybody who doesn't agree with you. And you actually say the opposite of truth. The opposite, but you say it so loudly and so like strongly and so viscerally, people go, well, but they must be telling the truth because nobody does that. Yeah, so that's what you do when you get caught with your pants down, which is what Chibnall's doing. He's leaning heavily into the chart. There's not. Anybody thought he's forgetting it? Forget it. Now the question is, will Russell T Davies be forgetting it, or will he be fixing it somehow in a way that we can all forget about it and move on and enjoy Doctor Who? That's what I'm hoping, right? That's what I'm hoping. Fine. Given nobody thought he was going to forget about it. But Chibnall clearly sees the Timeless Child story as central to everything else he wants to accomplish during his time during his tenure. Make Doctor Who shit. Okay, yeah, I think that's clearly what he wants to do. The Timeless Child was first mentioned in the second episode ever, Series 11, Episode 2. Well, that makes sense. Episode 2 was the second. And so, rather than ignore the idea, he's doubling down and actually making it just about work. Now, I think he knew where it was going when he mentioned it in Episode 2, right? I think he knew where he wanted to go with it when he first mentioned it. But still, like a whole year build up, like it was ridiculous. And he forgot about it, but until you clumsily brought it back in season 12. Doctor Who season 13, building on Timeless Child retcon, gradually fleshes out the Doctor's pre-William Hartnell history in Doctor. Again, we don't know. This could have been whatever. In Doctor Who season 12, the Doctor learned forgotten incarnations had worked for the covert Gallifrey agency called the Division. How boring is that? It's like what was it? The Monty Python thing about the Cray twins, the Piranha brothers, Doug and Dinsdale Piranha. First they came up with the plan. They called it the plan. I mean, like really, it's so boring. Yeah, I mean, you can see Chibnall's ideas from a mile away, things that he didn't rip off from other people because they're boring. Who secretly act as the planet's. How do you know this? This makes me so mad. I've seen everything you've seen, and you say who secretly acted in the planet's best interest in the universe. How do you know? What the hell? How do you know? The story of Doctor Who Flux began with the Doctor hunting down Carvanista. Well, not really. It began with Carvanista having caught the Doctor and Yaz because they're useless. About to drop them into a sea of boiling acid and have robots shoot them on a planet that's about to blow up, right? And they survive because they're stunning and brave. They survive by jumping into them. They found a way of falling into the TARDIS and they landed in a bed. The console room. Yeah! Now, Carvanista was one of the Doctor's team. In the generic, boring-ass, garbage-tier sci-fi world that she lived before William Hart. I mean, like, really, William Hart was just magical, right? That whole, like, the very severe white-haired gentleman coming out who was, like, different and anti-authoritarian at the same time as being authoritative. Really interesting. This is just boring again. It's Lex done badly, and I didn't really like Lex. Who she has identified as the last surviving division operative. Attempt to learn the truth about her past was interrupted by a cosmic threat, the Flux. Which the Doctor believes has the potential to destroy the entire universe. Well, we saw it eat a few planets. Like, we don't really... Okay, they're so amorphous about how they describe the Flux, aren't they? They're like, it's a planet-eating dust cloud of doom that doesn't eat all planets and makes things bad, and then the Daleks and the Cybermen fight, and the Sontar. It's like, does it wipe out planets? Does it blow up buildings? What does it do? The Doctor believes it has potential to destroy the entire universe, and I think it does. I do think they're wrapping up this entire universe at the end of the Chibnall era. Maybe at the end of Flux. Maybe they're going to have the last few episodes in this new universe. That could be. Who knows? Which the Doctor believes has potential to destroy the entire universe, and she herself is going up against two mysterious new villains, Swarm and Azor. Very good casting. I do like Swarm and Azor. They do look like they're from Terrorhawks, but other than that, they're pretty darn good. Collectively known as the Ravagers. Now, they never actually said that on screen, have they? I don't think they say that on screen, that they're the Ravagers, like the Perishers. These were enemies who fought the Doctor when she worked for the division. Meanwhile, they had a great major advantage that they knew the Doctor's modus operandi, whereas she had absolutely no idea who they were. And again, it's been thousands of years. Maybe change grow? No, nobody grows, nobody changes. Again, this is the boring tier sci-fi that Chris Chibnall loves. This is a smart way of making the Timeless Child retcon work in narrative terms, because it means the Doctor's forgotten past actually matters. Not really. I mean, yeah, I guess. And indeed, the fate of the universe hangs on. Yeah, but it's so artificial, right? It's so. So you're saying the Timeless Children work now because they gave it the stakes it needed. What about when they blew up Gallifrey because of it? And but that was enough. No, those stakes of only destroying planets was enough. Well, now we're just going to destroy the universe, or not. I mean, depending how you want to look at it. Timeless Child retcon is no longer a rather convoluted point of continuity, but instead a major plot point. Well, yes, but it should be that to start with. Okay, yes, that's your starting point, not your fix. Oh, there's me coffee. There you go. Can't find the lid. Doctor Who Flux, episode 3. Doc sings one step further, with Chibnall attempting to avoid his tendency towards excessive exposition by plunging the Doctor into a pre-Hartnell past controversy, courtesy of a time storm. Again, would have been a lot better, and this is not quantifiable, which is why you can't really do anything with it. But it would have been a lot better if it was good, right? Why did John Hurt as the War Doctor work when Christopher Eccleston wouldn't come back to the 60s? Why did that work? And why does Dr. Ruth feel very shoehorned in? The only good thing about Dr. Ruth is she's much better than Jodie Whittaker in the role. Doesn't really say much. I think you could probably get a tub of lard or a ham sandwich that could do a more convincing Doctor than Jodie Whittaker. At least it'll be quieter, thank God for that. And they could probably run more convincingly as well. So that was really, but it didn't work because, and again, it's non-quantifiable because it just isn't very good, right? It's not very good. Whereas William Hurt was like mystery and art, and it fitted in, and it's exciting. And also, what was the anniversary called? The Day of the Doctor? The Day of the Doctor. When the Daleks were mainly physical effects. Like they used the character options foot tool ones, the remote control, which I've got a couple of that. I love those ones. and had them blow it, and that like it just being more real made it so much better than we see them floating badly CGI. Although it was nice to see them, I have to say it was nice to see see that, but it was just better, right? It's got to be good. So where are we? This confirmed what viewers had long suspected. What, since series 12, episode 6, like literally, what was it? 8 episodes ago. Like really long time. How long? 8 episodes. Would be a long time if they did 1 episode every 2 years. Which, by the way, as on the side, I think that the reduced episode count has helped Chibnall so much. I just think 10 episodes was way too much for him. He can't really do it, right? I just don't think he has it in him. Oh, he didn't have 6 episodes in me, but it's still, I think it's that and him shitting himself, which he very clearly is, has made made improvements. So Joe Bob's mysterious new doctor, dubbed the Forgotten Doctor by the production crew, was herself a pre-Hartnell doctor who worked for the division but went rogue. Martin's Doctor was introduced in season 12 in the unexpected delight. Delight's a strong word there. Whose performance received almost universal acclaim. Again, it's because she's standing next to Whittaker. And her cameos in episode 3 was hopefully a taste of bigger things to come for her character. Yeah, listen, I'm sure there are. Meanwhile, although Chibnall's controversial narrative in episode 3 wasn't entirely effective, I can't wait for Monday, right, to see the viewing figures for episode 4. Right, I want to see how much of a dip it made in the overnights, because I think it really did. Right, I think it being unintelligible. I think when they do an episode which is broadly speaking entertaining for normies, the viewing figures do better. I think if they're doing it for and they do a bad episode, it does worse. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Meanwhile, it was better than his usual exposition heavy explanations. But I don't understand. Why doesn't he just hire a good writer? Right? Like, really? Wouldn't that be a go-to thing to do? Hire a good writer? No. He seems to be finding learning his lesson of showing, not telling, taking advantage of Doctor Who's time travel concepts to do just that. Okay. God, is this nearly done? Because I want to get to that other article. My God, 3 more of the dense paragraphs. Doctor Who Flux has given the tiniest child emotional weight. I don't think so. Doctor Who Flux has given the tiniest child some retcon some much needed emotional weight. Part of the problem was originally the retcon was that the Doctor Who Season 12, Episode 10, actually undermined its significance with the scene in which the Doctor decided not to be defined by it. Okay. The Master intended the revelation of the Doctor's true history to break her, but the Matrix version of Joe Martin's Forgotten Doctor persuaded that it didn't matter. Yeah, have you ever been limited by who you were before? So, what's the point then? If it doesn't change anything, then why do it? It's not very interesting. The reason you did it, again, over and over and over and over again, the reason you did it is to make the character of the Doctor less white and less male. Let's be honest about it. That's the reason. And it's not a good reason. It's a racist reason. But I'm inviting the Doctor to recognize that it's her choices that count, not her origin. In narrative terms, it felt as though Chibnall was instituting the biggest retcon since 1969's episode, The War Games, while simultaneously telling viewers he shouldn't worry about it because yes, it was dumb. Yes, that's one way it was dumb. But Doctor Who Flux has abandoned that approach with the revelation of the fundamentally ordering Jodie Whittaker's portrayal of the Doctor. Yeah, listen, she's got a furrowed face a lot more. We get a lot more of. Yeah, she's added this face in, this boring furrowed face with a little wrinkle in the side, in between her eyes. So she used to have 2 modes. She used to be like happy puppy, or sad girl who'd lost a dolly. Ooh, you can wreck planets or you can save them. And then you had lecture mode, and now you got like scrunchy, confused face mode. Because yes, you added a whole new face in. Well done, darling. We're all very proud. We're all very proud. There is a newfound Asian doctor. She desperately seeks to learn the truth about her past. If that was the case, when she met Dr. Ruth, would they not have sat down with each other and tried to work out where she's from and get a bit more information, rather than not mentioning it and sodding off? Would that have made sense? Again, logic and reason, not Chibnall's strong points. And she's definitely becoming almost obsessed about it, even risking breaking time itself in Doctor Who Season 13, Episode 3. What's more, the Doctor's decision to keep all this secret has damaged her relationship with Yaz, her friend, her very special friend, sensing that she's holding something back and becoming increasingly frustrated with it. Yeah, they're an old lesbian couple at this point, and they're not fun to be around. An argument between the two in Doctor Who Flux Episode 1 actually sounded as though it veered close to the parting of the ways. Oh, please, that'd be great. In Episode 3, the Doctor vented her anger at poor Yaz. Oh, poor Yaz. When she pulled out her when she was pulled out of her memories before she was ready, the evocative of some of the best classic Doctor Who stories kept Patrick down. Don't mention Jodie Whittaker in the same breath with Patrick Bloody Troughton. When viewers were unsure whether the Doctor could be trusted, or when his agenda seemed to be different from his companion. Now it's him, okay? But both Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill are to be praised for their performances. Their performance is particularly Mandip Gill, completely in over her head, like completely in over her head. The Time to Start revelation clearly aren't over in Doctor Who Season 13, but it's likely Chibnall doesn't intend to complete his story here. Although Chibnall and Whittaker's tenures are coming to an end, there's still 3 specials. Yeah, I do think it's, and I think the Sash Demands Masters certainly, it's not coming back during Flux. I think it's coming back during one of the specials. All right, that would make sense to me. Given increasingly it seems that the Timeless Child defines the Chibnall's right, it does. Except for the first season. It's likely to continue to build upon these specials, completing his rewrite of Doctor Who on a personal history, and hopefully making a full potential of the retcon clear. It will be something similar to the approach Russell T. David took with his Time Lord Victorian arc. What? That was nothing to do with Russell T. Davis! I mean, it had Tennant's Doctorate. No! What? He didn't touch Time Lord Victorian! You are truly a moron, aren't you? This guy is truly a moron. We've ran through David Tennant's last few specials. No! It ran for 5 minutes, less than that in Waters of Mars. Okay, it's too soon to say whether or not Chibnall will be successful in will successfully redeem the Timeless Child retcon. Oh no, it's not too early. I'll tell you, he can't. In these specials of that really doesn't have the story potential. Doctor Who Flux suggests that Timeless Child's story may ultimately prove worth all the controversy. No way! Hopefully Chibnall can pull it off and fulfill his vision for Whittaker's era. I think he already has done, right? I think he already has done. So yeah, listen, he said, it's all going to be okay, And so that's the first bit of revisionist history. Like, it was all planned, all from the beginning, everything's going completely to plan. And now the other bit of revisionist history is this. Of course, Chris Chibnall is obviously as shit as Stephen Moffat. Get on your bike, mate. No. Let's just whiz through this. Is this Thomas Bacon as well? No, okay. Flux was supposed to be an opportunity for Christian to win over his doubters, but repeating his worst mistakes. But it's repeating all the worst mistakes of the Stephen Moffat era. The 13th. Oh, he is ripping off the Moffat era, isn't he? 13th series of a long-running sci-fi series telling one story spread across 6 episodes. The last full season produced under Chibnall, with both. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay. After the series was revived, okay, history. However, while still producing many fan favorite episodes over the years, he saw his era declining viewership and waning enthusiasm for the series, particularly with criticism of Moffat's overly complex plotlines. No, I think the waning the waning viewership during the latter part of Moffat was for a few things. I think Capaldi's first season really hurt him. I think it was his weakest as well. I want to say good stuff sells, bad stuff doesn't, right? I think his first season really, really, really hurt him. It wasn't the convoluted storylines, it was the alienness and aloofness of the Doctor. I think he hit his stride more with season 9, right? When he came out with the electric guitar, I think I read an interview last night. He wanted to incorporate music much more, like have him go meet Jimi Hendrix, have him invent the wah-wah pedal. Like the whole thing with the guitar was him saying to Moffat, wouldn't it be great if he had a guitar he can plug into the console? And then Moffat comes out with him on a tank with the guitar, and it really kind of came to define this Doctor, right? His Doctor. I think that's really where it was going. I think it needed an extra couple of years, but it wasn't the convoluted plot lines. It was the alienness of the Doctor in that first season, and weak quality of the episode, like Kill the Moon and Forest of the Night are bad episodes, right? And he wasn't anywhere near as warm and engaging as Matt Smith. I love Capaldi, okay? Don't think I hate. I love Capaldi's portrayal, but that's why. Also, BBC became. I actually, now in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe they sabotaged it so to make it easier to bring in Whittaker, because they moved it all around the time slot. They didn't get it. It was in the middle of the summer. Can you imagine what Capaldi would have done with a Sunday time slot? Although he probably would want a Saturday one. So it wasn't the overly complex plot lines at all. No. With Doctor Chibnall is steering back to the Moffat Byzantine plot lines, and it's all the worse for it. Despite being... No, it's not. It's not worse. It's better than his other stuff. Despite being presented with an opportunity to tell a story that is a single self-contained story, Flux has rapidly devolved into a complicated navel-gazing mess. Okay, that's true. With Doctor Who Season 13 enjoying a miniseries-like structure, which really helps Chibnall. Flux has the opportunity to function as a perfect on-ramp for new viewers. Well, they said that about season 11, didn't they? That was the point, to make it completely new, so you can come on, because we're getting all new viewers. We're getting rid of the icky white men, and now we want stunning and brave non-white men. Okay, little girls, little brown girls. We want little brown girls, and it's so disgusting that they think in this way, but they do. But the backward-looking plot will only further alienate. Listen, his first season did the worst. I think his second season did the worst. He's been scrambling episodes. The first season didn't have any monsters. Everybody went, this is boring. This is not. And look, you saw the viewing figures. It was, wow, they lost half that year, right? Then they did the same thing the year after. So they're down to like a quarter of the viewing figures they had. But he saw the viewing figures, and he stuffed it full of monsters and the villains and the master, and said, still didn't work. It was still crap. It's not the plot lines. Flux is posing more questions about the timeless child of the division. Doctor's. It's a flaw that hindered Moffat's here as well, with season arcs focusing on the secret name of the mythical hybrid. They were just ideas to move the story along. It was a context to move the story along. You had good stories in there, right? And I think the overarching thing wasn't that bad. In addition to the plot being too absorbed in the show's history, Doctor Who Flux is simply too confusing. Episode 3 certainly was. I understood it because I'm a sci-fi geek, but Normies didn't. Moffat was criticised for his enigmatic mystery box plots, but Chibnall has taken the problem further with stories that paradoxically manage to evade comprehension while being overstuffed with exposition. Doctor Who Season 13, Episode 3, Once Upon a Time, represents a new era, a new high watermark for convolution, matching scattered story with confusing dialogue. Even the Doctor seems to echo the sentiment and says, I'm sorry, I'm normally very good at keeping up with things, but you've lost me early on. She's not normally good at keeping up with things. Seemingly unaware of the parallels to Moffat's glutted narrative, blah, 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 blah. Flux even borrows Weeping Angels, blah, 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 blah. Okay, is this the end of it? Thank you. After season 12, the following holiday special, Revolution of the Dalek. We don't even know the name of the special yet. We know that Alison Beeling, Aisley, I can't remember. It was one of the people that Noel said was going to, from the TARDIS zone, a rumor that he said that she was going to be in Doctor Who. This was about a year ago, right? This was about a year ago. Look to Course Correct the show, showing that rather than growing further entangled with the show's canon, it should move on with the TARDIS child serving as a footnote to history. You know what? Yeah, but the problem you always got, your same problem you had with Revolution of the Dalek, is the same problem you have here. Jodie Whittaker. She's a wrecking ball of suck, going through absolutely everything. And Chris Chibnall not far behind. Unfortunately, he was about to squander the opportunity, so he's saying he wanted it. Fine. Who cares? Viewers can only hope that series will learn from the mistakes of 20th century when the returning showrunner Rusty Davis, who had nothing to do with Time Lord Victorious, you utter morons, retakes the reins speedily in our days. Should they do that? That'll be fan-dabby, double dosing. So there you go, a bit of revisionist history, the sort of history that socialism loves. Socialists love. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.